Hello, everybody. I hope you're ready. Ready for a great day, playing a great game. Well, you're not playing. Are you playing? Then why are you watching? Either way, a great day of competitive Clash Royale as we are in the final day of our league stage. Week 7, Day 2, and there's the standings through 6 weeks. Now, a little update compared to what you see there on your screen. After our results from yesterday, Shock 13 is currently in first place. We'll see what happens with Shock Calalas today. My suspicion is they take that first place back. Olimpo squad is currently not in fourth place. TITANSTARS Alliance has jumped ahead of them. Now, with a great performance today against SUN ESPORTS, could Olimpo squad retake that position? Only time will tell. But of course, time will be told today. French SWAT out of things. But again, TSA currently in the number 4 spot, and a win from SUN ESPORTS could potentially secure that for them if SUN puts down Olimpo squad in our first match of the day. So you can bet for sure the TSA is watching that one very closely. BCN Pro Team looks to be fully eliminated, I believe, from contention after they went to the final game of King of the Hill yesterday and then no-showed and gave away the free win and were no longer able to compete. Shocker of a development there in that one. But of course today, Olimpo squad with their fate in their own hands. A win over SUN ESPORTS would put them at 4-3, above TSA's 3-4, and would move them into our playoff picture. Speaking of the playoff picture, that'll be coming up next week. 1 versus 4 and 3 versus 2. And that one, of course, led by none other than Mohamed Light. 86% win rate through 15 games played. 13-2 overall in games. And his teammate Vitor right there behind him in third. But really take a look at Rising Sun, who we'll be seeing today. Grieco and Ta, both boasting over 60% win rates, and both over 14 games played. That's a lot of gameplay to put up 60%. I'll put that 60%, that 64% of Grieco's, or that 62 of Ta's over the 66% of Bassotto and Vitor, having only played 6 games each. Not saying one player is better than the other, but that consistency over that many games, certainly impressive. Olimpo squad today will be leaning on Chief Keef, who's been their main guy. 60% win rate almost. Will he be able to clutch up today when they get into the thick stuff? Of course, we'll have that answer in a little bit, but for now, it's just you and me together here for this stream for what's going to be a fun one, folks. Hi, I'm Rich Slayton. If you don't know me, I cast Clash Royale a lot, including things like GKR, the National Series, Queso Cup in all of its various forms, Teams editions, Golden editions, Solo editions, and of course this thing called Clash Royale League, which happening this weekend, our monthly final, with one crazy monthly final bracket. Let me tell you, we'll talk about it more probably throughout the show. Speaking of show, they're in the chat on YouTube right now. Show, one of the leaders and founders of Rising Sun Esports, here in the mix. Now, quick note, I'm going to turn the music down for a second. You might note that my volume on my mic's a little bit low today. That's because, unfortunately, I'll turn it up, I have to play with my volume throughout the day because there are trees being cut down directly outside my window by a very loud chainsaw. Our monthly finals on Saturday or Sunday. Random Slav, the answer to that question is yes. They are on both. Day 1 on Saturday, day 2 on Sunday. But that's Saturday, Sunday. Right now, boom. We're going to kick things off here in just a couple minutes between Rising Sun Esports and Olimpo squad. Rising Sun with Air Surfer, Pandora, and Grieco for their 3v3 best of 1 lineup. Miniminter, Framcito, and Capgun on the side of Olimpo squad. And interesting to note here, Rising Sun exercising all 4 bans. Fisherman, which is going to significantly impact the use of Royal Giant. Mega Knight also out. So the MK Prince deck killed without banning Miner. Fascinating. NATO gone as well. Really an interesting set of bans here from Rising Sun and Mortar. One of the more interesting ban sets we have seen. Banning Fisherman is great because you don't ban Royal Giant, but you undercut Royal Giant, which is something that Miniminter plays very well. That's fascinating. That is very fascinating. On the side of Olimpo squad, only exercising 2 of their bans. No Monk and no Goblin Hut. And you know what? I am excited to see Goblin Hut banned today. Oh my word. With no Mortar, NATO, or Fish, Hoggy Q's always going to be very popular. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Or Hoggy Q counters, and might be minor wall breakers for Mini here to open up, as the Stab Gobs go for their pickup. And this might be looking pretty similar on both sides of the board here. John Joseph, why would teams not use all their bans? A variety of reasons. From they don't feel like it, to they don't have bans that they want, to they would like to have a more open meta. To they forgot. And that Hog's doing a lot. And great, let's put Smurfblades comment up there one more time. No Mortar, NATO, or Fish Boy. Hoggy Q's to be popular, there you go. Hog EQ. What will people do to combat Hog EQ now? Might we see some more mini P.E.K.K.A? I don't think we'll see Big Mama P.E.K.K.A. I think the only mini P.E.K.K.A deck that's really popular right now runs NATO. And good pre-log from Mini. He's not going to get anything from that, and so that's why you see the reaction. Nick, I don't understand your comment whatsoever, so I'm not putting it on the screen. Minute 12 remaining, and Miniminter's certainly not happy with this one. Giving up that much hog damage early, certainly a problem. And not sure what, if any, strategy there is to get back in this one in any meaningful way. An ill-timed set of wall breakers, because that log was almost guaranteed to be coming in. To the person in the chat on YouTube, I've learned not to answer questions that seem suspect. Zabine with an opinion I think is absolutely on point. Goblin has the most annoying card in the game, IMO. It's pretty annoying right now. Glad to see it banned in this one. And you see Miniminter actually doing some pretty good damage here late game, but it's going to be too little too late. And just going to get that spell cycle finished. Mini certainly not pleased with that one. Game 1 goes to Air Surfer. Is face cam optional? I actually have no idea. I'm not involved in the production on that level. This is coming from a clean feed. I get the clean feed, the main like gameplay and the stuff that you see from production, and then I Nick, I try to avoid things that look like traps. That's all I'll say. And I don't know if something seems like nonsensical in a comment, I mostly just say, no, I'm not gonna answer that. Is Sparky any good these days? That's my favo card. Says Sabine. Not really. I mean, people do play it sometimes. It's very matchup dependent. And back to Hog EQ again. Is this going to be just Hog EQ Fest? Is this too many? I think 4 bans is certainly too many. I would have preferred 2 bans per team and at most 1 spell being the bans. That would have been my preference. Chuck Norris asking what went wrong with Hype Boys, referring to a completely different tournament than the one we are currently in. Giant Sparky still makes top 200 to 500 every season. Yeah, I mean, every deck still makes top 200 to 500. There are one-tricks who can get any deck to top 500. 2.6 is a terrible deck now. It still makes it to top 500. So just under 60, the gap at the moment. And that's just a hog for getting the bomb tower out. Tim Alloy saying, why don't pros utilize Lava Hound more? Lava Hound is pretty weak right now in the meta, and they do use it sometimes in competitive when they think that they know what matchup they might get. But in general, Lava just isn't super strong right now. And you're going to see Muskie and Archer Queen both get so much value. I'm very curious to see if somebody goes and throws some more annoying to get to if you're playing Earthquake cards in one of these next games. Just because with the prevalence of Hog EQ due to these bans, it does seem like playing cards that you need Fireball, Poison, Lightning to get to might make sense, as we're seeing the value getting out of these Musketeers and these Archer Queens. Am I casting monthly finals this weekend? Yes, I am. Oh, Tim Malloy saying, Lava and Baby Dragon are my most used cards. Release your pros use them. Baby Dragon has kind of been, it's been nerfed a couple times over the years, and it's just not as useful right now. Like, most of the swarm card, like, splash damage typically right now is better either from Bomb Tower or from ground troops. And if you're going for an air spot, almost every single time, either Phoenix is the best, and at this point, Mega Minion is honestly a better call than Baby Dragon most of the time. What's my rating 1 through 10 on Pump Bow? Right now, a 3? I don't know. All Expo decks are bad right now. And I played Pump Bow for about 3 seasons a couple years ago. The Pump Bow Barbs with Snowball Barb Barrel, back when Snowball and Barb Barrel were with super OP. And there were lots of no big spell decks, which made Pump Bow super strong. Too many bans. Adam Villalobos shot a -4 on my local 9-hole. The next day I hit every tree in the park. Yeah, I shot 5 under on the front 9 at my local a couple months ago, and then did the same thing. And here we go, final 15 seconds. Who can cycle more EQs and logs? Earthquake, Earthquake, log, log. The math is simple. GG, well played. Fram takes game 2. We're going to a game 3 that I'm going to suspect will have some hogs and EQs. Please don't be sleeping on Lava Dragon. There's no such thing as Lava Dragon. Hi, Rich, says the unknown man. I guess I never put this question up, but there you go. Did anybody tell you before that you are the best CR commentator? Thank you very much. People have told me that and told me the opposite. But I appreciate that you like it, that you like my commentating. Thank you very much. Let's see. 3 minutes of gameplay, only log and EQ damages. Yeah, that was blah. USB and Juicy will be casting. No, SB is not an official Clash Royale League caster. The team is myself, Andrew Guy, Joshua Sharon, a.k.a. AC, and Juicy J. Baby Dragon never seems to get value. Yes, I agree. Do I think Firecracker would be good in this deck being played? It often is played in this deck. It's not as good right now in the meta because everyone's running Fireball Poison. Fireball Poison arrows are also popular. So there you go. What's harder and why? Disc golf or regular golf? That's a good question. Probably regular golf is harder. Like, classic golf is harder. Just because, like, putting in disc golf is actually kind of easy by comparison to putting in regular golf. Right? It's the big issue with the pro scene, right? Is that, most golf pars are based off of the idea you're in a 2-putt once you reach the green. Whereas disc golf, once you reach, quote-unquote, the green, at a pro level, they're gonna 1-putt most of the time. So, yeah, I don't know. But I think regular golf, also I think part of the reason why why regular golf is harder is just that the financial barrier to entry makes it harder to get good at it, right? I wonder how much better people would be at regular golf if it cost a whole lot less to be able to play. Tossing Plastic going to North Cove tomorrow. Ooh! I know you're planning on making a video. Can't wait to watch. North Cove, that's on my list. That is on my list. Nuggets and 6, don't care. The Kings are out. Irrigan was top 1 with Pump Ice Spirit with Pumpo. Was Top Gun early season? Early season doesn't count. You look fab today. Thank you. Sunglasses as well. Thank you. Big fan from Bangladesh. What's up? Let's talk about card evolution. Not until there's more announcements. Am I going to host any more Mega Draft tournaments? Yes, I am. Do I watch football? Which one, American or regular? What about terrain, open versus trees? I like a good mix. Is there any sort of class on how to become a caster / commentator? The class of life. And I'll talk about that more during the break. Right now, let's talk about some Clash Royale, and I'll answer this question about how to become a commentator. I'll talk about it. I feel like I'm hearing the music twice in the background. So, switching to minor wall breakers here. And no NATO also, of course, means good for wall breakers. I cannot give anyone any info on the new card evolution update until that info is released. When the information is released, you'll get it. Capgun is one of the more expressive players on camera. Banning these cards made the entire session less interesting. It's just too many bans. And the fact that there's so many bans that all go, that all favor like 1 or 2 cards being better. That's, I think, the big problem here, right? So when you have essentially 3 cards that collectively being banned make 2 decks stronger, it's too much. Again, Mega Draft stand, here we go. Loon in. Does that bomb tower pull the Loon back into musky range? I don't think it does. This might be a smart ability, though. Oh, what an ability there. What an ability from Capgun. Very, very nice. Very smartly played. And now looning to the opposite direction. Will a miner go right to this musketeer here? I think so. Miner goes to the back of the muskie, but muskie's already on the loon. Greco just finding it very hard to get any purchase with the balloon. This is absolutely not true. I've answered many questions that were on Twitch. Nesta Makunen. And I'll answer more questions when we get to the break. Wait, I don't see Julesy in the chat. I don't see Julesy on the Twitch chat. I'm doing very well, Yuso. Thanks for asking. Final minute 15. All it takes is 1 balloon. There's an argument you should have snowballed that into the Phoenix rather than away from the Loon Phoenix. Can Greco find a way to get a balloon on tower? These catches from Greco are critical. Capgun trying to play the best defense he can here. Might want to try to get back around to another musketeer to help with this right-hand side. And he does. Snowball, arrows, great bomb tower high. Capgun playing solid defense and still putting in real offense here. And this might be it. Snowball down. There's no time for a Loon to connect. Very well played by Capgun. Very, very well played by Capgun indeed. you talk about Capgun's gameplay, and it's not like he didn't have a good, a solid matchup here. Not like he was in a bad matchup situation, but he made really good choices. Oh, this is all messed up. Hold on. This is totally all messed up. Still, I did not prepare my instant replay situation for... there we go. And let me get my camera off here. All right, let's go ahead. Well, actually, we're here we are at the replay anyway. So check out this great play. The snowball goes to get the muskie out. And this balloon's causing problems. But a great play of the Mighty Miner here. Uses the ability, pops it back into range. Great control. So just solid control overall by Capgun. Again, wasn't like a big problem. Wasn't like he was in a bad hole matchup-wise. But it's also a situation where you can't make mistakes. And he made no mistakes there. Very nicely done. Or made no critical mistakes. Next up will be Ta versus Keef. Keef is the top win rate player for Olimpo squad. And Ta's up there. He's either 1 or 2 in win rates right now for Rising Sun Esports. So we'll see both of those guys going head-to-head here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and look at the chat here for a second. I'm going to hit some Twitch questions since I've been told that I don't answer Twitch questions by someone who's wrong. So you already know what Card Evolution is. No comment. You have 3 screens. Right now, 2 that are active and 1 that is inactive, but yes. Twitch will never get an answer. This guy came in late and didn't realize I'd already answered a number of questions on Twitch. Yes. Juzo's not Julesy. Totally different human being. There we go. The audio's a bit delayed. Not on my end. 16 on ladder, not so random. Yes, I feel that. All right, let's take a look at YouTube for a second. Let's see. Back to this question. Any sort of class on to become a commentator? Class, no. Well, I guess we're back into gameplay, and I'll talk about this. Man, they're moving the games along today. Do you know why you're looking at extra? Do you know you're looking at extra hands today? Thank you very much. I do know. Finances is why I play disc golf. It's part of it. Of course, if you start getting into it, then you start buying disc after disc after disc after disc. And there you go. Again, there's no bans in the dual mode set. So you see Fishboy in, Monk in, an immediate aggressive Royal Giant here. So Royal Giant versus Pig's Mirror. Pig's Mirror was, I believe, the most popular, or Pigs overall, was the most popular deck played during the qualifier stage of our last CRL. Clash Royale Esports. And let's see if I can actually show this. Clash Royale Esports posting this on Twitter. 2 almost identical versions of Royal Hogs plus Giant Skeleton. So that was 7 out of 8 cards. The Mirror version or the Mother Witch version. Over 800 total plays of this deck from Ta. This is the difference between the Mirror version and Mother Witch version. And curious which one you picked. Which one do you play between these two? And someone saying it's Chetty's deck. What, the Mirror Pigs? Now I'll answer more questions. Once we have a big Bake Protein game, so I see a lot of questions that are not related to what's happening right this second. And I will go ahead and adjust those comments once we're breaking between the 2 matches. This RG is going to get... Oh, I thought it would get 1 before the Fishboy got it. Nicely controlled. Fisherman Zappy is going to make it hard to get a lot more here. And the lack of splash damage on Keef's side. Doesn't have the Fireball for this one. Going to try to DPS it down and take a lot of damage just like that. Ta with good dual lane damage too with the Royal Ghost working on the left-hand side. RG right into the 2 Zappies here. as the Monk is in front. Oh, and that Fireball coming out early and getting the Fly Machine off the board. That's a big exchange for Keef here. And now the Phoenix forces out Zappies, gets some death damage, and Keef just putting the pedal to the metal. But with 6 Zappies, can he get a shot off? Does get a shot. 3:01 remaining. Mother Witch plus Bar Barrel, I'm guessing here. No, goes Phoenix instead. No Bar Barrel. Might use it to pull the Royal Giant, or the, there we go, to pull the Giant Skeleton back. And with that reflection here, that's going to be enough for Fireball range. Keef will take game number 1. Very nicely played. Very nicely played by Keef here. So taking a look. Oh, I guess they don't. I forgot that we're not doing in-game duels. So a little bit of a difference there. All right, let's see. How much of this can I catch up to during the game-by-game break? I will address the question about commentating from Sluggish Crow between the matches. Rich, how to learn to play? How much time should be given to the game? It depends on you, but a lot of these guys grind pretty hard. I'm a newbie. My friends say only noobs play Sparky. Is that true? For mostly, yes. Let's see. Still trying to get through here. Not going to answer that. How to learn to play, how much time should you give in the game? Again, I already addressed that one. Richios Fisherman is popular in tournaments. Yes, he's very popular. How long is this GKR thing anyway? This is the last day of the league stage, and we have playoffs next week. Interesting. So, both players open up with Fisherman kind of control-y versions of their decks. And then game 2, they both go to Drill NATO. Did I know matches cost gold before? Yeah. I've played since pretty much the beginning of the game. I remember when they cost gold and it was super annoying. Nice Magic Archer. Ewiz will come out to reset that, but good value because not only is the Magic Archer forcing out a response, protected that cannon card a little bit. He didn't go all the way in on protecting that cannon card. He decided to go drill instead. Maybe he thought the cart would win against that bar barrel. But that Magic Archer was nice. I'm often against early Magic Archers because a lot of the times they're kind of wasted elixir for not enough damage. But with the Giant Skeleton already protecting, the Cannon Cart being protected, that was nice sequencing by Keef. Who, by the way, we talk about underrated, overrated. Keef, underrated. Italy doesn't have a lot of really top, well-known players. And maybe that's part of it, is that the Italian scene just isn't super known. But Keef made World Finals in 21 and 22. Not sure if he'll do it in 23, but he's currently top 18. He's got 150 points. Currently to make top 7 on the leaderboards takes 190. Keef could do it. Another big push here. Magic Archer opposite lane for defense from Ta. And the Bar Barrel for Ta will even that up and protect his Magic Archer a little bit more and create a little counter push opportunity. He's going to go drill to the outside, I think. No, goes to the front here. Thought he might kind of try to trap the Golden Knight back there. And look at how close this is. 38 HP with just 90-ish seconds left. And I think that Ta thought the Golden Knight would get ahead of that Magic Archer. And that Magic Archer NATO play, it's a lot of elixir to spend for what it didn't turn into. It's a smart barb barrel from Ta, just controlling the giant skeleton. But now Keef has a legitimate opportunity to set up the opposite direction. Triple elixir. Good lead for Ta. Keef has not been using the NATOs in the same way that Ta has been using them. He might even NATO this Magic Archer in. It's just not step. He keeps thinking it's going to step up into, and maybe that's what that Giant Skeleton was about, right? He thought that Giant Skeleton, what a great Magic Archer from Keef there. Good damage the other direction from Ta. 22 seconds left. 1679 to 1195. And NATOs both ways. The NATO from the Magic Archer from Keef cannot get the lineup. And that should be game 2 going to Ta here. Very nicely played. GG, game 3 coming. GG, game 3 on its way. Minor poison, minor wall breakers available for both players. Some graveyard opportunities as well. My guess is that we're going to see minor from at least one of these two. Possibly from both. We could see Graveyard, although Graveyard usually wants Barb Barrel for its small spell. Could be a Graveyard Arrows deck as well. But Mark, you saying minor MK coming. Very good possibility. My guess is we're going to see minor from at least one of these two, maybe both. NATO being played, Hog is available as well. Right, Fisherman out on both sides, NATO out on both sides. Hog is a nice play here. So we'll see what these guys pull out here for game 3. Which Mega Knight? Hilarious. If you want to be a champion like Mo, you have to be so perfect in math. What do you think, Rich? Maybe? I don't know. Nerf E-Giant? I'll pass that along. Here we go, game 3. What sort of minor Hog battle are we in for here? Or someone going something crazy? Looks like Hog both sides. Minor Giant Skeleton says Cletus. Well, it's definitely Hog from Ta, and it's probably Hog from Keef. Of course, not having seen what the last spell is, it could be minor poison. For sure. That's possible. Ice Spirit makes it feel more like Hog. And there you go. Hog for Hog. Typically, the thought process here is that Bomb Tower wins this. Despite the fact that Mortar can create more pressure, Bomb Tower does better against the Earthquakes than the Mortar does. So let's see if that holds. Slightly faster cycle from Ta with the Goblins. And just Earthquake Cycle early. I would be shocked to see Keef get a Mortar on tower. And the log timing doesn't quite get the hog. Doesn't matter, hog won't connect. This hog will, though. And that's probably GG right there. We're going to set number 3, folks. It would take a severe mistake on Ta's part to lose at this stage. Has the better matchup, has the big lead advantage. And Ta just on it. Mortar does connect on the far side. A bit of a surprise here. Did Ta get a little over-aggressive early? And now Mortar will connect one more time. I don't think this is enough damage to change the game. Would have loved to get the chip damage for Ta there. Doesn't get it. Keef putting pressure on. Keef is turning these bridge fights into real damage opportunities, and that's serious damage from the Musketeer. Suddenly, Keef is sliding on through. Gets a hog shot. Gets another hog shot. What in the world? And Keef ends it for Olimpo squad. What in the world? What just happened, folks? Hold on, I meant to go ahead and queue up the replay for you guys. What in the world? Caster Curse hits it. Yeah, I mean I wrapped that one up. Here we go. Let's take a look at this replay. I mean, just Ta is miles ahead here, but he loses this bridge fight. He just let's go back to the beginning here. He just loses this bridge fight. Right, the log doesn't do it. His Mighty Miner gets completely distracted by all the guards. And then when the Muskie slides on through and gets his Muskie off the board, brilliant pre-log from Keef. And that's GG right there. That's the huge swing. Now there's no bomb tower available. And Ta just stuck and lost. Did he not have Ice Spirit in cycle at that point? Let's go look again. So he has Muskie, and so we don't know where Ice Spirit is right now. Hog, or log in, bomb tower in. He plays that Ice Spirit there. Ice Spirit gets disappeared. Goblins. Oh yeah, he has... Wait, so now he's back. But no, so log. Is he not back? Is he one from Ice Spirit? I guess he needed one more to play. Wow. Wow. Very, very well done. Huge game from Olimpo squad. I mean, that's massive. Olimpo squad now goes to 4-3, which means Olimpo squad makes the playoffs. Wow. Olimpo squad with the win over SUN ESPORTS goes to 4-3 and makes the top 4. TSA's out. Olimpo squad in. What a game. What a clutch there by Keef. What a clutch by Keef. Wow. All right. Let me go ahead and answer all these questions that have been piling up here. I'm going to start on YouTube with answering the question I've said I've been answered 1,000 times, and now I'll finally answer it. Is there any sort of class on to become a caster commentator? I'm sure there are classes. Don't take them. Classes are ridiculous. The way I got started as being a commentator was I was already a public speaker. I was already a stand-up comic. I've been a teacher teaching like in front of a class of like 50 college students for years. I was a good public speaker, and I positioned myself well to work on local mixed martial arts shows for like $100 a day, making very little money. I was in my 20s when I first started, and I just cut my teeth doing commentary. I had examples of people I would try to emulate. In this case, one way to become a commentator is start doing your own stuff. Start streaming tournaments on your own channel and practice your craft. I mean, there are a number of people who have gotten opportunities to cast some bigger stuff because they did just that, right? Like, I know Zach CR hosted his own tournaments, so when some of the primary casters for CR are not available, he's cast some of these like Queso Cup style tournaments on occasion. Juicy J, while he is an ex-pro, obviously, he started doing so much casting and hosting on his own channel, and then when I invited him to fill in for some of these smaller tournaments when I wasn't available, he took the opportunity, and now he's a CRL caster. I'll be very honest, the likelihood of anybody becoming a CRL caster is very, 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 very tiny, especially if you're not a professional broadcaster and or a professional Clash Royale player, because I'm not going anywhere. Andrew's not going anywhere unless he gets on a movie or a TV show or something. And then the pro players are going to fill in those analyst spots. So very unlikely that you can move up to that level just in this game because of the number of jobs there are. But you can move up in other games or do community casting and see where it takes you. Let's see. Let me keep on working through some of these old comments. Blah, 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 blah. That one's on... When we see some Bangladeshi pros in tournaments. When they win enough to be in tournaments. There you go. We already had somebody say about Hog Mortar, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Which variation of Royal Gen is better in your opinion? Monk Fireball, for sure. I miss Hoon Loon. Well, he might be playing in the next game. We'll see. Caster Curse. Yep. That was Banana. Yep. Keef showing why he's a world finalist, for sure. Let's see. Severe Mistake, I agree. Bad Goblin Drop, yes, for sure. Musketeer got insane value, yes. Muskie and Log Predict, yep. That did some great. Thought he won it first, so just tried to defend just to win, but Keef just rocked him. Can I show the leaderboard? I don't have control over the leaderboard, unfortunately. Why is 2.6 good? Terrible. I wouldn't call it good, but terrible. Yeah, it's just not a good deck. It used to be, but it's so outdated and not effective. We want Riley. Okay, whatever. Go to his channel then. I've already answered the question about the Royal Giant variation. You look super tanned, bro. I've been getting more sun lately, playing disc golf a lot. Rich, you lucky I don't 1v1 you, bro. Coming through with a 3 crown. You do you, big baller. When will we see Egyptian pro players? Never. There's none of those, obviously. Oh, I just got here, Mr. Caster's Curse. I feel you. Do you prefer old Clash Royale or the actual one? I don't know what you mean by that question. MMA background is sweet. Do you still do any of that? I have not been an MMA commentator in many years. That's how I got my start in commentating though for about 6 years. Doing the lead play-by-play commentary for local mixed martial arts fights in Southern California. If you look up U of MMA on YouTube, you can find a lot of the old fights that I commentated, including the first 4 amateur fights of former light heavyweight title contender Dominik the Devastator Reyes. Let's go to Twitch and answer some of their questions. Surprising invited that Crater Camp with Juicy. This is just the first one. There might be more of them. I don't know. Let's see. Rich, since you've done MMA commentary, stand-up, and CR comedy, what's the easy and tough part of all 3 professions? MMA commentary. Excitement is very easy because it's a fight. The hard part about MMA commentary is the days are very, very long. And you have to try to find a way to tell the truth, but also be critical, but also know your lane, right? At the same time. You have to tell the story, but also be respectful at the same time. Stand-up, the easy part is performing. That's the fun part, right? Doing shows is the fun part. The hard part of stand-up is all the waiting around to perform. You spend so much time just waiting to go up. And also the uncertainty in stand-up is really hard. You just don't know, no matter how good you are. I mean, there are, of course, exceptions, but, there are so many very funny stand-ups that I know who just never got an opportunity to go past a certain level. So, yeah, the uncertainty is the hardest part about stand-up. I mean, bombing is also terrible, but, it's just part of the game. The easy part about CR commentary is actually kind of similar to the easy part about MMA commentary. It's just big, exciting moments. It's really fun to pop off on. The toughest part about CR commentary is probably that no matter what you do, there's someone who's so unhappy that they'll aggressively tell you about it. The comments, if you will. That and just how one card can change a matchup, and I don't know. I prefer CR commentary when I'm paired with a professional player, so I can do the hosting part of the job and let someone and then set up the conversation and guide the conversation for the analysis part and do like what a play-by-play host is supposed to do, which is set the stage, tell the story, and create the framework for the expert commentator to give their thoughts on what's happening. And those of you who wanted Hoon, by the way, no Loon here playing Graveyard. But we have Hoon against Vitor. Vitor is best boy. Yes. Ty needs to work on his nerves, maybe. Is Mugi playing today? I don't see Mugi in today's lineup. I see someone else you'd be excited about in today's lineup, though. Why are there no bans on Vitor's side? They just opted not to. They've already clinched. Funny's in the eye of the beholder, sort of. Yeah. I'll say this: whenever someone says that person's not funny or that's not funny, I always say that you should add the 2 words "to me," because there are different sense of humors. Can I upgrade all cards to max just by free to playing? I don't know. Probably take like a really significant grind and have been doing it for a long time, but I don't know. You have to be the Pong to the pro player's ping. Yeah, I feel that. Can I show the final standings? If they show them. Adam Helpless, what if we are better than you? At what? I don't even know what he's talking. What's that referencing to? That's a lot of damage here. Arrows versus poison. I mean, poison plus arrows, I guess. Is this... I mean, arrows versus Barbarrel. And arrows getting a lot more value than Barbarrel in this matchup. You don't need extra tanks. Like the Barbarrel, one of the things about Barbarrel is it's an extra tank. And I don't think you really need the extra tank in this graveyard deck. So arrows, especially in this matchup, look at that, boom, all over those gobs. GG, well played. Game 1 for Vitor and shot Calalas. Well done. There's my music. This deck is such a pain, also no skill Lava Hound, sure. Let's go take a look at the lineups, by the way, for our first set here, the 3v3 BO1s. Next up, Dominik versus Fly. I'm curious about Fly. Let me look him up. I have a thought. Let me see if I can. There we go. In GKR. Yuya. Yeah, I was like, that looks like somebody I know, and that Fly is Yuya. There you go. Was just confirming that one before I said it out loud. Let's see. How old is Fly? 10? No, he's at least 16. He's actually older. He's probably like more like 18 to 20 now because he's been around for a minute. Is Mugi in the lineup for King of the Hill? Mugi is not in the lineup at all for today. But there's someone else who I know you'll all be very excited to see who is in the lineups. So Hog EQ for Doom. Easy choice there. Wow, Mega Knight aggressive plus bats from Yuya. Ice Spirit misses one bat, and that's one really annoying bat. Look at all the damage that bat's going to get. And now that tower down, wow. Absolute. Oh, and the bandit on top of it. And the bandit on top of it. Hello, Insult. Have you met Injury? 1878 to 493. And Yuya, I think, has this all locked up. You know what's interesting? You know, speaking about this, because I think someone mentioned about the food thing earlier, right? Line is quinoa. Western players, I have rarely seen a Western player change their name. Whereas Eastern players, Blizzard, a.k.a. Dandelion, a.k.a. whatever he is now, Line, a.k.a. Quinoa, Yuya, a.k.a. Fly. A lot more name changes amongst Eastern players than amongst Western players, and ugh. Dom can't be happy about that one. And that's going to be Greco, a.k.a. Lentils. Exactly. But I'm trying to think of any major Western players who've changed their names. I can't think of anybody. Do you guys have anyone? All right, final game coming up here. It's going to be Luminary versus Lucas to decide this set. This is 3v3 BO1s. Fisherman, NATO, Monk, and Mortar are the bands, by the way, in case you guys were curious. Yeah, Igor is Stardust now. I think it's different accounts as Dewash, but yes, but it's also like not just different accounts, but totally like people might make a different account, but then keep the same name as like their identity. You know what I mean? Here we go. Western players don't know there's an option to change. Maybe. I think maybe Western players are more brand conscious. So Graveyard for Lucas. And Wall Breakers for Luminary. No big surprises there. Hogman asking, what deck do you play? I don't play decks. I play Mega Draft. Mega Draft one trick. And interesting guards from the right-hand side. I'm going to be happy to poison the graveyard, but... Oh, nice Wallbreaker connection. Do I play the 50 gem 12-in Mega Draft challenges? Yes, that's all I'm playing right now, pretty much. So, slowing things down a little bit. The one annoying thing about this deck from Lucas's side is every minor catch that he has is really expensive. Right? You don't really catch minors with archers. You can, but you don't really. So now you're talking about 4 elixir, 5 elixir for the only 2 real minor catches. He could put Goblin Hut behind that tower, but then that's just poisonable. And you better do that when you feel like you have the chance to actually counter push for a graveyard. This should be a pretty simple game for Luminary to win at this point. And now Goblin Hut the opposite direction for Lucas. And Lucas can switch lanes and do some real damage. So we'll see if he ends up doing that. So far, Luminary playing very disciplined. Just saving these poisons for defense, kiting the Phoenixes away from the tower, and not trying to rush his way to a win. And a great Mighty Miner ability. Great protection by Luminary. And he'll get a bunch of chip damage from this Miner plus the log. Lucas puts the protection out, doesn't matter. That's GG. How long will this caster curse keep going? What do you mean spoke too soon? I said Luminary would win it. Did I say Lucas accidentally? I meant Luminary had this completely locked up. If I said Lucas, it was just a complete brain broken. But yeah, that was an easy matchup for Luminary. Matchup is very interesting to play for the GY player because there's poison, guards, the SK gets wrecked by the Mighty Miner. Yeah. Yeah, I said easy game win for Luminary. What's anyone on about? So here we go, set number 2. And as we go into our dual mode set, check this one out. Where's Mohamed Light? Is Mohamed Light playing today? Yeah, darn cookin' he is. Mohamed Light against Tico. Tico currently ranked 17th in our CRL standings, which is effectively 15th because of the 2 golden tickets. Tico, just like Chief Keef, at 150 points, so in the hunt. Needs a good moment, needs a good month. Isn't that light bulb? Yeah, I mean, as for Mohamed Light, like all of his different accounts are light something, and he still goes by Mohamed Light. So there you go, coming up soon. Scotland. Hey, everybody. KFC Clash! When are you playing Clash Royale for 24 hours again, KFC? Can you play Clash Royale on a fridge for 24 hours? That's the important question. Do I think Mo will continue winning monthly CRLs? I think he's not done winning monthly CRLs. Whether he'll win this next one is a different question. Rich, what happens if by the end of CRL they see who's top 2 players at the end have same points? There's other tiebreakers. I mean, the whole reason for teams is that you have players supporting each other. It's not meant to be a one-man show. Sure, that's fair. Someone says KFC robbed you. Anton, KFC says you robbed him. Just want to point that out. Or KFC, Anton says you robbed him. So maybe you pay him back by playing Clash Royale for 24 hours on a fridge. Let's go ahead and jump into our next match. And I think the SB might have coined the best new nickname for Mohamed Light. For those of you who were watching the top 32 for CRL this weekend here on the channel, Mr. Clash Royale. I think that's it. What do I think of an engineer card like which that intelligence that makes a zappy? Oh my lord. Oof. Brutal. Tico doing his best to frame himself up nicely. Interesting choice of E-Giant for Mohamed Light. He's been playing it a bunch. Let's not be confused. Mr. CR, for short. I feel that. And Mo just cycling lightnings for troop plus tower damage early. And every one of those cycles is a negative elixir trade, by the way. The Musketeer is a negative trade. The Mighty Miner is a negative trade. He's down 4 right now. But the Barb Barrel's here. And now he's back to even. Just genius level stuff. I think that's one of the things. You talk about what makes Mohamed Light good at this game. One of those things that makes him phenomenal is he does stuff that on paper, that like if you were coaching someone and you saw them do that, you'd be like, don't do that. And then he does it, and it works. Because his depth of understanding of the game is so much beyond most players. Lead right now for Tico, though. 23-21 to 24-18 as we go into sudden death overtime. And again, that is it simply is a negative elixir trade, no matter how you look at it. Great Golden Knight Dash. I find that Mo Light recognizes mistakes that aren't supposed to be mistakes. That's also true. Final 80 seconds here. Keep in mind, the lead for Mo is very slim. And Tico must be a little bit on eggshells here. And just, again, the lightning cycle. He just knows that he can handle that Mighty Miner so cheaply. And this is a problem. This is a real problem for Tico. Wow. 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 Lightning is the win con because E-Giant shouldn't connect to this matchup. It did. Had a clanmate ask if Mo Light was any good when I was talking about what decks Mo uses. Not everyone knows. Not everyone knows the truth. Not everyone is following Clash Royale competitive. But literally, whatever. I've said it too many times. But the best player to ever pick up the game. Makes it look so easy. Yes, I agree. Aktham saying, Rich, nice glasses. What brand are they? These are Gooders. And you can get them for 15% off if you use code RICH at checkout. How about that? You go to gooder.com/RichSlayton. And you can get 20 and use code RICH at checkout. Get 25% off. How about that? How about that? Get it. Let's see. Let me look at the chat here for a second. Lightning Cycle had a baited Tico to play more aggro to try to make it to the damage, but it left him low for when Mo actually wanted Lightning the Bomb Tower to break through. Yep. Mark, you got in top 1K, finished the E-Giant, never seen this Lightning Cycle stuff ever. First time seeing it. Yeah. Next level stuff. Mo just knew that the tower damage outweighed the elixir difference in that matchup. Yep. Here we go. All the glasses. Yeah, any glasses you see on here are Gooders. Do you ever take glasses off on stream? Yeah, watch CRL. You'll see me without glasses all the time. Where are those messages coming from? We are streaming on Twitch and YouTube, folks. We have about 400 viewers on YouTube and about 50 viewers on Twitch. Thanks to all 460 of you or so watching right now. Appreciate each and every one of you. And one thing about Mohamed Light that I find interesting is... maybe it's not that interesting, actually. I was saying that, like, there are so many players who just slowly adapt to the meta, whereas Mo's just aggressively in it, but that's a pretty dumb point. Slug is saying, also Richie to wear these dug glasses in CRL as well. During World Finals, whenever I was on stage, I wore them. But on the desk, they just didn't look good. So I did not wear them on the desk. But on my own channel, stun glasses are out. Let's go. That's a good hog gobs pressure on the left as soon as those arrows come out. Very smart. Good lead for Mo right now. Inferno Tower does not pick up the Mega Minion as it stays just out of range, so the AQ comes out to help. .90 seconds left, and looks like Mo's got this pretty well sewn up, but of course anything can happen. And the hog into this Goblin Hut is an interesting choice from Tico. And by interesting, I mean not a great one. Now this might turn into something. No, never mind. Never you mind. 1780 to 668. And just the pressure naked graveyard opposite lane. No arrows behind. I'm a little surprised, but there's DPS down this hog. 30 seconds left. That hog can make up some ground. Mo's going to need to go heavy on the defense here as a great Goblin Hut and a rough EQ. Really rough EQ. Now Goblins. Delivery high. Perfect arrows graveyard. One more hog trying to sneak on through. I don't think it can. And it takes Rascal's damage right at the bridge. The impact of giving up damage on your Hog Rider basically right when it drops is so significant. But you see, I mean, he didn't have a choice, obviously. But you see it happen with players all the time. They drop into something like Rascal Girls, like that. And at that point, the expenditure to get your hog off the board is so minimal. Set number 3 incoming, King of the Hill. EGW, Tico and Luminary versus Lucas, Vitor, Mohamed Light. Bans are back in effect. No Fish Boy, no Monk, no NATO, no Mortar. Mo knows his true red, true blue because the hut shouldn't have pulled the hog. Really? Let's see. Source going to play a Graveyard in single. Oh, yeah, but Smurfley makes a great point here. Set the tone early. And it's also risk is relative, is a good way to put it. Let's see. EQ would leave Goblin Hut and Rascals and Archers with leftover 1 HP just to kill the hog anyways. Yep. Momo is so good in a way that it feels wrong. I feel you. It's Mo Light. What are you going to do? Is that a quote now? Is that a quote now? I see you removed the Hail Slayton paper. No, I didn't. It's right there. You know what? Let's stand up. Let's enjoy the Hail Slayton for our final set. Let's live in it. Hail Slayton. People acting like I'm taking stuff down. Get out of here. Let's see. Nerf Mo. Mo Light's a robot. They put him last on King of the Hill so other players can play. Sure. Let's get it. Starting up here in just a minute. What percentage do you use standing desk versus sitting? Good question. I should use standing desk more, to be honest. I should use standing desk more, but there you go. Probably like 80-20 for sitting. Let's kill this music. And EGW. With going full Sith Lord, I guess. No, Champlio. No, it did not. And EGW using all the goblins. EGW's top 1 with this deck right now. It's interesting how top 1, top 3, like how that terminology, which I think really, I don't know like which community that originated in. It's very much not from the English community initially. Now that's become like the nomenclature. He's number 1. He's first. But top 1 has become the nomenclature. Very, very specific. I've never heard it used anywhere outside of CRL. Outside of CR. A lot of goblins. And the minion horde. Top 1 makes no sense to me. Yeah, I think it came from Spanish. I'm not sure if that was the community it came from. But, or maybe it came, I don't know if it came from Spanish specifically or it came from like people trying to translate. They were saying they were number 1, number 2 into English and like didn't know the proper translation. People say top number when they're at that position. Like, so yeah, like if you say you're top 8, that means you're somewhere in the top 8. You're 1 through 8 somewhere. But people will say it very specific like that. And I think it might have been a translation, a weird translation thing that ended up becoming like the cultural norm in our game. I'd love to see someone do research and figure that out. Figure out the etymology, the evolution of that term in our game. Wow, what a crazy miner from Lucas. Does not activate the king either. What in the world? Doesn't that miner seem scary? Didn't that seem like a scary miner to you? Didn't that seem like a super scary miner? Lucas trying to find a way. With 75 seconds left and a 600 HP gap, it's not impossible. Minor poison. But will mirror fireballs near the end here be a problem? Or mirror minors? And I think that ends up feeding Lucas more. Obviously, no one needs to be fed all that much. Ability down. Early poison. First minor caught by the E-Wiz. Does he mirror? He does not. He has to play some defense. 30 seconds left. Lead now goes to minor by goes to Lucas by a hair. Fireball has to come out. And not a good situation for EGW. Does he fireball the left? No, he doesn't. He goes mirror. He goes double minors. But that's going to be handled. That's going to be perfectly handled. And that's GG here. Very nicely played by Lucas. EGW down. And I think the crazy play of all of this, I really thought that it was going to activate King Tower. But I was incorrect. Let's take a look at this replay here from earlier in the match. And it'll cycle back around to another Goblin Hut there in the bottom right, I believe. I think that's what we're... I think I pulled the correct... Yeah, there you go. Look at this minor that Lucas is going to play here. To that little tile right there. And it gets on the hut. And you see the minor wanted twice the minor wanted to hit that King Tower. Instead, goes and hits those goblins. Let's look at that one more time. You see Goblin Hut's going to come down bottom right. Learn something new every day. That minor will not go to the King Tower. Yeah, they spawn. And man, that minor wanted it. That minor wanted to ruin Lucas's day right there. It chose not to. It opted out of the betrayal. Here we go. Game 2, Lucas up 1. Tico on the board now for Strangers. Lucas going hog. Angelo Roach saying level 12 versus 11. I don't know what you're talking about. They're both level 11. Mirror can do... Oh, like for the minor versus the Goblin Hut? Level 12 versus level 11? Is that what you're talking about? Very interesting. Does Tico have the best mustache in Clash Royale? Would Sweep object to that evaluation? To that assessment? And Hogman saying no, Mighty Miner has the best mustache in Clash Royale. Cooler Stream saying he just might. KFC have a better one. Mohamed, good call there. And Lucas handles that whole push pretty easily. Hitar saying, Rich, since you've done so much commentary, is there any commentary you think is amazing in CR or MMA? You know, a guy I used to kind of make fun of early on in my career, who I now respect tremendously, is Mauro Ranallo, who, you know, I first encountered him as like an Elite XC Pro Elite commentator, all like the non-UFC MMA leagues. And then he's gone on to do a bunch of WWE stuff. He still does some traditional combat sports as well. But Mauro's really, really great at creating an exciting show. Kind of depends on what you want from a commentator, right? Mauro's commentary is really part of the show, whereas someone like John Anik is kind of a conductor who blends into the background. Like, you don't think about John Anik very much at all when you're watching the UFC. He just kind of like... John Anik is like salt. You know you need it in your food, but you don't realize it unless it's missing. And Mauro Ranallo is like hot sauce. On the right dish, it just makes the meal. (1906 to 1504). 40 seconds left. Minor Poisons should be able to carry here. Wall breakers try to sneak through. They can't. Lead extends. And Hog just can't get through in a meaningful way. Log controls nicely. Wall breakers kite. Can the Archer Queen get the ability? I think she already used it on defense, so she can't do it. That could have been a game changer. And we're all tied up 1-1 between Strangers and Lucas. I mean, Strangers and Shot Calalas. There we go. GG Tico, I agree. Yeah, so to finish my thought on that one about who I really think is great. Yeah. Mauro Ranallo. Just again, it's a flavor thing. What kind of flavor do you like with your commentary? There are some people like in Clash Royale who want commentary to be just like very much stay on point of the thing the entire time, even when it's like community events like this on my stream, right? People like, if you talk about anything other than the action directly in front of you at any point, that you're the devil. And then some people want you to be more active with chat or talk about more other things. You know, I saw one time the funniest comment ever, first season of CRL, was someone said, they made a complaint about me and Andrew, and they said, the blonde guy just says what's happening, and then the other guy just gives his opinion on it, on what's good and what's bad. And I'm like, you just described how commentary is supposed to work. One person is the play-by-play, who says the who and the what, and the other is the analyst who says the why and the how. Like, it was hilarious that his complaint was that we were doing the actual job of commentators precisely. It was the first season of CRL, and while I'll admit that I still take some of the negativity to heart, I think I said earlier that I think the toxicity is the hardest part for me in this job. But that was where I first really learned that that some people are just maniacs. Some people just don't know what they're talking about, and to ignore most of it, because It's like if you went to McDonald's and complained, they served me a hamburger, French fries, and a Coca-Cola. What were you here for? What are you here for? And we have a both on camera match here. That's fun. It's interesting motivation-wise, right, between these two teams. We saw French SWAT not show up for their match yesterday because they're eliminated. Strangers is out. Shot Calalas is in. But both teams still going for it, and I have a lot of respect for that. And Tossing Plaza with a good point here. Half these matchups are the same thing over and over again. Yeah. We button it up a lot more during CRL and like keep it dialed in. For this stuff on my channel, I just kind of have a bit more fun with it. What happened with Olimpo squad? What do you mean what happened with Olimpo squad? You can go back and watch YouTube. Do I think Mo is John Jones status is to win more World Finals? No. Mo is John Jones status. Mo is the greatest to ever play Clash Royale, and it'll be very difficult for anyone to unseat him from that position. Did they qualify? I believe so. Yes. That's an that's an interesting place to put your mind. Like I see, maybe Vitor didn't have another choice that he wanted to go with, but throwing the miner when the guards are already out there, you know the guards are there. Is it just that you felt like you had to play something? Why not play something else, set up something on your side of the board? Why not play that miner one more tile to the back so the guards don't go there and be a little tricksy-dixy with it? Either way, here we are. 6 HP lead for Vitor, 90 seconds left. Smurfblade, Rick question, do you think such a person exists that could unseat Mo? Man, I don't know. Man, I don't know. That's hard. That's a hard question. It depends on the lifetime of this game, right? He played the miner that a pull the guards on the musketeer could shoot, but didn't it not get a shot on? Vitor with the lead. Log clears off some shields. Hog picked up by the bomb tower. And that should be enough here. GG, well played. Vitor sets up match point for Shot Calalas. Let's see. Someone saying maybe Mugi. Maybe. Here's the thing, right? Because you can't just take into account world championships. You can't just take those into account when you're talking about evaluating a player, right? If someone else, if somehow Surgical Goblin or Mugi or Elsiop, if someone won a second world championship, especially Mugi specifically, it would create more questions for sure. But the world championship is one tournament. Like, it's so weird, right? You talk about like golf, whether it be disc golf or ball golf, and they're like, hey, here's the world championships. Here's this. It's one tournament, right? It's not like you have a it's not like the Champions Cup, the Champions League in football, or like the playoffs in the NBA or the NFL, where like, hey, you play through a season, and then we have the top blank, and then we play through a bracket to get to that top whatever, right? I guess it sort of is like that. I guess it sort of is. But essentially, when you win a monthly final, you're like kind of winning a mini world championship. You know what I mean? Not to discount what a world championship is or what it means. But, you know, it's one of those things where you have to, when you evaluate, oh man, that's a lot of Mighty Miner damage. That's an insane amount of Mighty Miner damage for Luminary to give up right there. Oh my word. Oh my word. Good arrows for Luminary, Musketeer to control, Bandit does dash, and that should be good. Back to the point being made. World Championships are certainly important, right? You have to battle through so much to get there. Without question, certainly important. But when you're evaluating who's the GOAT, right, you have to evaluate everything else the rest of the year, right? So Mohamed Light has the big check, which is the World Championship. Also, a World number 2 the year before that. And then you put in all the number one finishes on top one, all the top finishes on ladder, all the top finishes in global tournaments, and all the number one finishes in, I mean, this year he's literally won everything he's been in. And you add in all the golden tickets from last year. You add in the monthly finals from 2021. Like, you have to look at the whole thing. Avengers Game, if you exclude championships, then Juicy J can be what? What can Juicy J be? Juicy's my friend, but there's no way you put Juicy J in the GOAT conversation for Clash Royale. And I think I speak for Juicy when I would say that he would probably say there's no way he belongs in that conversation. Great player, good friend, but come on. I think this is the point you're making the whole time, but even though Mugi won the 2021 World Finals, Mohamed Light 2021 was far superior. That's certainly part of the point. That's certainly part of the point. But on top of that, like let's say that Mugi wins the World Finals this year, right? People would argue he's the GOAT because he's the 2-time world champion. But you have to also take into account what Mo did all of 21, all of 22, and now all of 23 into that conversation. So let's say that oh, you're talking about the world thing, World Cyber Games? Yeah. Nice win there for Shot Calalas. Let's see if they give us let's wait around and see if they give us the final standings. But yeah, like you take a look, you take into account everything. So here's the question, right? Let's say Mugi gets to World Finals on points this year. Doesn't even win a golden ticket. He gets there on points this year. And then he wins World Finals. Right? Oh, here we go. There's our playoffs banner. Playoffs! Shot Calalas, Rising Sun, Olimpo Squad, and Shock 13. And that will be next week here on the channel. Next week here on the channel. There you go. Well played. And great job, Olimpo Squad. Keef clutching up today and putting his team in the playoffs. There we go. So back to finish up this conversation. Let's say that Mugi qualifies in the 14th spot, right? And then wins World Finals. And Mo wins all 7 monthly finals. Do you suddenly say, and Mugi beats Mo Mugi goes in the winner's bracket, Mo goes in the loser bracket, whatever, and however you want to put it. Mugi beats Mo in the World Finals. Does Mugi become the GOAT from winning that? Or do you, how do you weigh Mohamed Light's full career? I think it'd be very, very difficult for anyone to supplant him in that conversation. Do I think there's a player with Mo Light potentially who stopped playing after like 3 months before he became good like that? Maybe. Maybe. Jason Chen for broadcasting to the GOAT without a doubt, Rich. Thank you very much. I appreciate that opinion. It's nice to hear. GOATs. Mo Light, Morton, Surgical. There's not GOATs. There's a GOAT. It's greatest of all time, not greatests of all time. Right? For a long time, I was calling Surgical Goblin the GOAT and Mo Light the BOAT, the best of all time. But he's the GOAT now, too. Let's see. Top 3 greatest players. It's hard after the top 2, to be honest. Audriel's not supposed to be a Mo Light player level IMO, maybe. Consistency is the key. Yeah, he's more consistent than anybody else, by far. Recall his rise to fame back in 2019 in CR. Yeah, I mean, he started off kicking some butt over in the East. Hey, Rich, when we know which players qualify from China? I have the schedule somewhere. I have to look at that. Let's see. Juicy J, no, blah, blah. Mo Light got 1,020 points versus Mugi 620. Here you go. Let's just look at the final standings. Oh, those are the Week 6 standings. Never mind. We already know who qualified. Why Morton isn't playing comp anymore? He is, just not playing these small competitions. Let's see. Is today over? Yeah, basically. It's a long shot, but Igor and the GOAT conversation. Depends on what he does. I mean, not yet. Not right now. Is Igor probably top 5 all time, especially in terms of skill? Yeah, I think so. And if Igor makes a good run of it this year, then who knows where that conversation goes. But I still think Mo GOAT. Let's see. The only way to win things over Mo is if they win this monthly final and keeps winning everything for 2 years straight. Look at it that way. Yeah, that's my opinion. Surge was the GOAT until Mo showed up. I agree. World Champ is a heavier weight for matchup players. Top 3 players, Mo Light, Lightbulb, and Flashlight. That's funny. Morton equals GOAT? No. Morton's probably Morton might be my all-time favorite player, but not the GOAT. Let's see. I think even if Mugi won this year, Mohamed Light's still the GOAT. Even if Mugi won World Finals, Mohamed Light would still have more prize money won all time and solo comps, which is still better. Sure. And more to solo competition wins. LC up and higher will qualify. I think one of those two, I think higher is commentating now. I could be wrong there. Crazy not to mention Morton in the GOAT conversation. I am probably I'm one of the biggest Morton fans out here, and I don't think that that's crazy not to mention him in that conversation. Do I put Morton on my list of top 5? Definitely top 10, maybe top 5 players all time? Absolutely. Especially when you factor in teams and how much value he added in 2v2. But he's not in the conversation of greatest of all time. Not right now. You never knew GOAT stood for greatest of all time? Yeah, it's an acronym. It's not just like he's the best or he's my favorite. It's greatest of all time. Prime Surgical Goblin Mo? Mo. There we go. Let's see. Anything else here? I think that's about it. Hey, everybody. Keep an eye on this channel. Some more fun stuff coming here very soon. But this is going to be it for the day. Back this weekend with Clash Royale League on the official esports channel. So I'll see y'all there. If you're on Twitch, hang out, because Twitch, we're going to go ahead and do our normal thing where we go find someone to host and give them some love. If you're on YouTube, thank you for being here, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. As always, be excellent to each other, and party on, dude. Peace. All right. Can I? Boom. End the YouTube stream.